Welcome to the tradition-rich Houston Astrodome for EA Sports Supercross. When the Supercross series started in the early 70s, this was one of the 3 original venues, and it's been Supercross every year ever since. Hello, everybody. I'm Art Ekman along with David Bailey. Ricky Carmichael's popularity is soaring, and with good reason, David, because he's not only looked good on the track, but he's shown us that he has the courage to unseat the sports icon.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a few-year process. You know, when he first entered the 250 class, he was on the ground quite a bit, but he knew that within 3 years' time, he was going to be able to get to this position. So for Ricky, where he is isn't that big of a surprise, or for anyone at Kawasaki, but the 29-point lead, I think, is a big surprise. If you look at the points, he's got such a cushion over McGrath that even if he were to finish second to McGrath in all the remaining races, he'd only lose 18 points and the championship would be his. As we saw in 1992, though, things can happen very rapidly. With 6 races left, the season's not over yet. No, not by any means. And I'll tell you what, McGrath is to the point now where he's starting to be able to put a little bit of pressure on Carmichael. Last week, he made some changes in the bike setup. He's got a little bit different mindset coming in here to Houston. The rest of the races, the tracks are more to his style, a little bit harder packed, and I think he's going to try to knock Ricky out of that groove that's got him 7 wins in a row. The fans have left the pits. They're starting to come into the Astrodome right now, which gives some downtime for Davey Coombs, who's with Ricky Carmichael.
Well, the big story in the 250 class right now, Ricky Carmichael. 7 wins in a row coming in the Astrodome. Ricky, the wins just keep piling up.
Yeah, they've been going really good, Davey. I've been riding good, getting good starts, and I got 7 in a row now, and I'm going to try to keep that streak alive this weekend here at Houston.
I know last weekend you had a pretty big crash in practice, and you were able to put it right behind you during the race. Were you hurt at all?
Not really. You know, I just made a little bobble, and when it came race time, I was ready to go, and felt really good. Had a good heat race, and got the whole shot in the main event. And you know, Windham was right behind me, and he was pressuring me, but I was keeping my cool and riding smart, and he fell off. And then Yogi was behind me, and he fell off, and then I had a nice little lead. You know, not too big, but nevertheless, I was pretty comfortable out there, and you know, just rode my own race and took another win.
Well, we'll see if Ricky Carmichael can take his winning streak to 8 here in the Astrodome.
RC's dominance is rapidly elevating him up the career Supercross Nationals motocross list. For instance, his win in Minneapolis passed Mark Barnett on this very important list. RC is only 2 wins away now from the top 5 and Brock Glover. Now down the list a little ways off the page, 30 wins, our buddy David Bailey.
Oh, great. Well, you know, these guys rode like twice as many years as I did, so my percentage probably looks pretty good.
Hey, I got to give you at least 1, maybe 2 points for the Ironman win, though.
I always did like you, Art.
The guy at the top of the list, Jeremy McGrath, has only 2 wins this year, but he is ready to get on the road to victory.
Obviously, you know, RC has some great confidence right now, but I think that we've been kind of making our own mistakes and kind of letting it happen. And you know, after Anaheim won, we kind of went a little off on a direction maybe, and it's my fault, you know, I didn't really know. And so now we're back, and as of last week, I had confidence in my bike, and I had a great race. Finally, I was able to make some passes, some aggressive passes, something I haven't done in 6 weeks, you know, and I felt really bad about it. I mean, I want to win races. I mean, I came here to win, and I think we have the bike where we need it. And last week was kind of a settle-in week, get used to it again, but I want to win. I'm going for the win. I'm going to give it 110%. I think that Ricky has an on-edge riding style, and he needs someone there to push him. And if I can just get out a good start with him and kind of be there to pressure him a little bit, even if I'm not in first, if I'm in second, you know, if I'm the guy to pressure him, then I think he's likely to maybe make some mistakes. And you know, I mean, no one else is pushing him, so I mean, I'm gonna have to do it, and I want to do it, but it just hasn't been happening.
You know, a lot of people come to me and they're going, you know, what's wrong with Jeremy? What is it with him? Has he got enough titles, enough money, you know? Is he trying hard? And I think you can see from that interview, I mean, in the expression, you know, his eyebrows, and you know, it's coming from his heart. He doesn't feel like this championship is over, and he really wants to get back on the top of that podium.
This track here at the Astrodome is the most technical we've seen all season. We saw a lot of yellow flags in practice. Let's take a look now at the speed stick track map.
A little bit shorter start than we're used to seeing here in the Astrodome. That's because they left all the rest of the floor to build a great racetrack. You see the first rhythm section right out of the first corner. It keeps you busy. make a sharp left over the triple. Then you go underneath the finish line, jump into the first loop section, a right, the next triple. And you see that long section in blue there, the trickiest loop section of the year. And they have a little S-turn before they hit the finish line jump.
The top 4 riders in each qualifying round advance directly to the main event. The rest head to the semis for the top 5 or so honored. And then 2 riders from the last chance qualifier complete the 20-rider field for the 250s. We're set. The riders are at the gate right now for our first qualifier. Jeremy McGrath, 2 wins, 8 podiums on the year. You see him walking away. McGrath is stalled. LaRocco, Ferry, and Byrne also. Let's check it out. Mike LaRocco. One of the few great starts in his career, I think. Mike LaRocco here in the qualifying heat has taken the lead, the early lead.
Well, Ferry, who was so... There you see McGrath walking into the tunnel. Something went wrong on the line. See if Davey can catch up with him, but that's a huge story.
So it's LaRocco, Tim Ferry, who's been riding well on the Yamaha 4-stroke. Then number 49 is Isaiah Johnson out of Albuquerque, New Mexico in 3rd at MotorWorldRacing.com.
Look at Ferry applying that pressure. He is not waiting. He's not settling into LaRocco's pace. He's going for it. Look at him.
Tim Ferry let him escape the block pass. Boy, he's putting the pressure on LaRocco.
And it's working. Look, LaRocco messes up the finish line jump. Can't get all the way over that. Ferry is really bothering him, and Ferry was the 3rd fastest guy this afternoon in the time practice.
Tim Ferry had some wild crashes this year, but he's countered them with some terrific starts. 4 times he's recorded 5th place finishes, his best on the year in the main events. And recently he's been in the mix with contenders, getting 2nd place starts, holding on to 2 consecutive top 5 finishes. Let's go down to Davey and check into that situation. Davey.
Well, Art, as you can well imagine, Jeremy doesn't feel like talking right now. I asked him what happened. He said, I'll tell you later, and kind of shook it off. Completely understand that. I'll keep digging, but I have a feeling someone forgot to put gas in the bike.
That doesn't do much for your confidence.
No, you need to start tonight on a little bit better note than that, but Jeremy's been to the semi before. He's gone to the semi, in fact, this year in Atlanta, and it just gives him a little bit more time on the racetrack.
Well, he's the only 250 rider I know of, at least in the 10 years I've been following Supercross, that's ever had to go to the LCQ and then came back and won the main event. I believe that was Pontiac, wasn't it, David?
Yes, it was.
Here comes Ferry. Ferry trying to make a move on LaRocco. Oh, this is a great race.
I like the fact that Ferry's going around trying to take some different lines, not following them. And you see the pressure he's putting on LaRocco. LaRocco's starting to make little mistakes here and there. Ferry knows he's getting to him.
LaRocco has been riding well all year, coming off this 3rd consecutive podium at Minneapolis. And here comes Ferry in the whoops. Boy, both riders just blitzing those whoops. They are so far away from the 3rd place rider, Johnson. You can't even see Johnson in the picture.
That section, LaRocco just got a little breathing room. He jumped up on top of that plateau. We'll probably see Carmichael in the next heat do that. It's like trying to land on an aircraft carrier. That plateau is only about a bike length long. You got to time it perfect.
LaRocco might have to go mistake-free to win this qualifier. We'll find out when we come back.
Hey, Tortilli. How about an autograph?
Sport bikes are all about winning. And right now, the big winner is Honda. 600 Super Sport Champion and Formula Extreme Champion. Now it's time for you to win on the CBR 929RR and the new 600F4i. With your Honda card, get no down payment and monthly payments as low as $139 on the 600F4i for the first 2 years. Deals to move on at your Honda dealer. The Honda CBRs and you. Everyone wins.
Over Over the past 10 years, we've sold over 23 tons of Metrex drink mix, developed by a physician and powered by metamycin protein, engineered and scientifically proven to deliver results. Athletes from every corner of the world have discovered Metrex as the nutritional edge they need to be the best. Just imagine what it can do for you. Metrex, for the best shape of your life.
Right now, save 20% on all Metrex sports products, only at GNC.
Let's see the perfect notebook through your eyes. A big vivid screen, a fast Intel Pentium 3 processor, one-touch internet access. How about the power to turn heads? Oh, you'd like a deal. Okay. Get the compact Presario 1700T Internet Notebook PC for just $14.98. Then add a compact printer or scanner for just $1 more. You truly are a person with vision. Call us direct at 1-800-337-1988 now.
Supercross, presented by Speed Stick, is brought to you by Suzuki, the reigning AMA 125 National Motocross and Arena Cross champion. By the completely new EA Sports Supercross, now available for your PlayStation. EA Sports, it's in the game. And by Honda, the company that defines performance on two wheels. Performance first.
We're back in the Astrodome. You see number 5 on the Amsoil Dr. Martin's Honda, Mike LaRocco, holding on to the lead against Tim Ferry in our second qualifier. The big news, of course, Jeremy McGrath. Something wrong with the bike. Didn't even start when the gate dropped. He was in the tunnel about that time.
And he's lucky that the format is the way it is these days, where he can just go right into the semi. When I raced here in Houston, if you didn't start or finish the heat race, you were out altogether.
Whoa.
That would be at minus 25 points. You can just about hand the title to Carmichael on that mistake. But he's in the semi, and I'm sure that it's not going to be more track time because he didn't get any time here in the heat race, but he will get time on the track closer to the main event and see how the track's starting to break down. Ferry losing time now, Art. LaRocco's a tough guy to stay with. You see the gap is starting to widen. That's just because LaRocco is steady. Look at him jump up on top of that plateau right there, then right back off. I cannot tell you how technical that is, but if you come up a foot long or short, it's ugly.
Oh, a Suzuki rider goes flying. A lapper.
LaRocco missed that by about an inch. Missed the guy's head. You never know with Supercross. Just when you think, oh, I got this pretty figured out, something like that happens, it can ruin your whole night. I've had a guy come through a different portion of the racetrack and crash into me out of nowhere.
That's Jeff Penn, and it looks like he's on 2 feet. He's okay, I believe. There's another bike down.
This one broke in half. Okay, if you think this track isn't that difficult, think again.
Isaiah Johnson's bike breaking in half.
Here it is right here.
You talk about force.
Look at that shot.
Incredible.
He actually escaped that. He was pretty lucky to get away from that the way he did, but you can see the bike just break completely away. That's because he came up a little bit short.
Davey, you got some boards down there?
Yeah, well, actually, that's Isaiah Johnson, the Motor World Yamaha team. He's fine, but as you can see, his bike, well, that's what you call a DNF.
I don't think they're going to get that one fixed in time for the semis.
They can buff that out. They can do a lot back at those trucks, but they're not going to fix that one.
Oh, my goodness, and Isaiah was doing pretty well as well. Here's our leader, number 5, Mike LaRocco, who's hung on all along. His best lap time of 57.8.
That's close to what they were running this afternoon in the practice sessions. He's right there in the hunt. I'll tell you what, a shock, though, Art. I mean, we've had bikes break in half. We've had McGrath not even able to start the race, and LaRocco got a whole shot. I hope that's an indication of great racing tonight.
I kind of had that feeling going into this evening. I don't know about you, David, but I told some of my better friends that I expect all kinds of things happening tonight with this track.
You know, it's everyone loves coming here because of the dirt. Look at the dirt. It's just perfect. They have so much of it. They have no limit as to how big they can make all the jumps.
White flag. Final lap for Mike LaRocco.
And it's just, you know, the series is starting to get to a point where it's getting interesting. McGrath has to do something. He's got to keep the pressure on Carmichael. LaRocco still wants to get a win. Ferry still wants to finish a race the way he started it. There's a lot of guys that are getting impatient with Ricky winning so many of these in a row.
So in this final lap, we've got LaRocco, Ferry, and Byrne in the top three. Lewis is fourth, and on the bubble is Huffman. Only the top four qualify.
Look at that double right there. These guys have hardly any time to get stopped for that berm, and it's right back into the toughest section of the night. I'm not sure if that's it or this one right here. He wasn't able to triple onto the plateau that time, so he's got to spend more time in the air as a result.
LaRocco this year just won't let anybody close to that third position in points. Lusk and Windham have been trying to knock on the door, but LaRocco, as he heads toward the checkered flag, wins the first 250 qualifying heat here in Houston, Texas. Oh, we had a little bit of everything happen in this one, that's for sure. Let's take another look at LaRocco. What could have happened? That's head in front of him.
Yeah, you can see LaRocco. You can see it all happen. He's crossed up a little bit to try to miss Hedden. Just gets by. I mean, imagine a foot peg. You know, I don't want to imagine that. That could have been a disaster.
So the young man from Wichita, Kansas, just barely escapes a serious injury. As we look at the Suzuki results page, LaRocco, Ferry, Byrne, and Kyle Lewis goes directly from the qualifying heat into the main event. Let's go to Davey, who's been busy today.
Well, Mike, a lot of strange things happened in that race, but David Bailey, I think, said it first. You got a hole shot.
Yeah, that's probably even more strange than that guy's bike in two pieces. But no, it went well for me. I've been working on the starts, and, you know, that's what may keep me out of the races. Now I just got to ride looser. I mean, I was tight that time, and fortunately it didn't matter, but I know Ricky's going to run loose in a better pace. So in the main event, if I get a start like that, I can make things happen.
Good ride so far.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, it was a rough qualifying heat in heat number 1 here with the 250s. Coming up next, Ricky Carmichael and friends in heat number 2.
Mondays on A&E.
In 60 seconds or less, a decision is made that could change someone's life forever.
A series so real.
For the lawyers, it's on-the-job training.
It has real lawyers talking.
100 Center Street.
100 Center Street.
100 Center Street, where every reckless act has its price. Has its price.
100 Center Street.
Adelphia Media Services, your link to customers. Call the number on your screen to advertise your business on today's hottest cable programming.
Tuscarora Mill is Loudoun's favorite restaurant and is also a great place for business and social gatherings. Whether it's an all-day corporate event or a rehearsal dinner, Tuskie's has the perfect banquet facilities. Choose from 2 rooms, the wine cellar or the garden room, both equally spacious and charming. And let the Tuskie's staff take care of all your banquet needs, from theme dinners to wine tastings. For groups of 15 or 150, call Tuscarora Mill, a Loudoun favorite for over a decade.
This weekend, Sunday on ESPN, it's A-Rod's Ranger debut, the Radio Shack MLB season opener, Rangers Blue Jays live from Puerto Rico. Also on ESPN2, the Capitals and Red Wings flex their playoff muscle as they head towards the postseason. Later on ESPN, it's the biggest night in women's sports, the coronation of the women's NCAA basketball champion. And on ESPN Classic, Gene Hackman and Dennis Hopper star in the small-town basketball saga, Hoosiers on Real Classics. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
Going to be kind of hard to match the action in the first qualifying heat, but Ricky Carmichael, you see him there putting the goggles on. Kevin Windham, Ezra Lusk, Sebastian Tortelli, Robbie Raynard, Heath Voss, Casey Johnson, Travis Elliott, and more. They're certainly going to try. The 32nd board is up as we get set for the second qualifier from the Astrodome. This great dome, so much rich tradition in Supercross history since 1974. We're almost set to go, and we are off and running. Kevin Windham, number 14, in a battle with Ezra Lusk, and Ricky Carmichael right behind him. Wyndham on the Suzuki, number 14. Ezra Lusk on the Honda, number 11. Ezra looking for a breakthrough. Look at Wyndham leap by Ezra Lusk into first place. There's Ricky Carmichael on the number 4 Kawasaki. Look at the nice timing by Ricky, David. That was a beautiful move, but still, Lusk and Wyndham are in front of him.
Oh, had a hard landing right there. He wasn't able to go for the triple, so he had to double out of there, landed on the flat ground. You saw his head bob. I wonder if Ricky's going to just get in there and muscle his way by these guys, because You know, it's a great racetrack. There's plenty of places to pass, but not against guys like Lusk and Windham. They're going to take that best line, and the only way by is to just bump in there. Ricky's the kind of guy that will do that.
There you see Windham completing the first lap. Ricky Carmichael in second. Makes the move on Ezra Lusk right before the finish line jump.
Yeah, Ezra blew it back there, had to roll something, and just gave it up. Now Ricky has been ahead of Kevin Windham in a few heat races this year and held him off with a lot of pressure, though. Now he can do it right back to Kevin. I don't know if Kevin's going to want to have that much pressure right now. You heard Loracco talk about how hard it is to get out front. He rode tight. I guarantee you that number 4 back there will tighten you right up.
Ricky Carmichael has won 9 heat races out of the 10 races this year, the last 9 in a row. Windham taking those moves very nicely.
Yeah, but Ricky, watch this. Triples up onto that plateau, right back off, makes his time back up. That's a lot faster. And Ricky can do that stuff every lap.
Kevin Windham trying to hold on to the lead in his second qualifying heat.
Doing a great job so far. You know, it's rare this year, especially to see Ricky that late off the gate. He got closed off right away. And that could be the story tonight.
Windham has been starved for consistency and the ability to regain his past brilliance. Here comes Carmichael. Bar to bar over the triple. Carmichael takes the lead. Here's Windham on the inside. Carmichael, though, has the edge.
Now Lusk is getting back in the picture. You see him closing back in. Now watch Windham. He knows what Ricky's doing out of this corner. He's going to see how he does it. Look at that.
Carmichael.
They all go for it.
And Lusk, they all went for it, right?
They have to, or he's gone. See the different lines these guys are able to use? I love this layout. All right, Lusk has recovered nicely from his mistake. He's back in this fight.
The flashbulbs are popping from the stands as Carmichael, Windham, and Lusk make a fascinating race in this qualifier. Robbie Raynard is a lone ranger all alone in fourth. And he is not getting a challenge whatsoever.
I'll tell you what, that pass for the lead back there, Kevin was in a catch-22. If he'd have gone wide, Ricky would have gone tight and blocked past him. He went to the inside, and it's not the fastest line, so I'm impressed that he's been able to hang on to Ricky so far, because no one's really been able to do that this year.
Oh, Ricky Carmichael makes the mistake of the whoops. The tough buck goes flying. Carmichael trying to get up in time to get back and try and qualify. It looks like he's going to the semifinal round. Let's take another look at this.
Well, he's going to get in here aggressive. Watch, as soon as he hits, his foot slips off the peg. That wrecks his momentum. He was lucky he didn't get bucked off and get hurt. And that could have looked a lot worse.
That shows you the strength that this kid has worked on all off season.
He's so strong, Art. He just held on. He's like a bull rider. He's not going to fall off until he gets to a place that's soft.
So Kevin Windham has taken over the lead in our qualifier. We'll be right back with more action. Oh, we've had a lot of it so far.
It's time for Suzuki Fest 2001, Suzuki's main sales event. This Suzuki Fest is the biggest ever, with over 20 different motorcycles and ATVs to choose from. Right now, you can get up to $400 in your choice of free accessories. Choose from helmets, jackets, winches, backpacks, anything you want when you buy a select Suzuki motorcycle or ATV. Plus, get great financing too. Go to your participating Suzuki dealer by April 30th and come out riding.
Ever wish you could have the power of a full-sized vacuum and the convenience of a handheld one? This is T-Rex. It gives you more power than most full-sized vacuums, yet it's lightweight and portable. Ever break a glass? Broken glass can be dangerous, but even broken glass is no problem for T-Rex. T-Rex is a revolutionary breakthrough that gives you deep cleaning power. No more lugging out that heavy vacuum. Now you can clean stairs quick and easy. Use T-Rex in the workshop, the kitchen, and don't forget cars and boats. T-Rex will cut your cleaning time in half. You can order your T-Rex for the low price of only $39.95. We'll send you the T-Rex with 3-foot hose and shoulder strap, this handy bristle brush for drapes and blinds, a floor nozzle for easy cleaning, and this crevice tool for those hard-to-reach areas. We'll also send you our special pet brush. It attracts hair like a magnet. That's everything you see for only $39.95.
Call 1-800-416-4455. That's 1-800-416-4455. Order today.
We're back in the Astrodome, where Kevin Windham on the 14 Suzuki is leading his qualifier. And right behind him is another former Supercross winner who is starred for a checkered flag. Number 11, Team Honda's Ezra Lusk. He's within striking distance as they get near the whoops.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys, look at Lusk down the side.
Hold on, Ezra. Looked like he was in the rodeo here at the Astrodome.
That was amazing. Ezra was able to recover from that corner, which he took real easy and still jumped up on top of that plateau. So these guys are getting comfortable with that. Watch his back end. Right about there, it skates off to the right. See, right there, you've got to have the confidence to keep the throttle on and the nerve, because if you let off, it's over. Front wheel drops into one of those, and while you got that rear wheel bouncing to the side, it's right over the handlebars.
Here's Ezra Lusk, big move on Windham, but Windham has the inside line. Lusk getting around the lapper on the outside. Less than 2 laps to go in our qualifier. And Kevin Windham has held on admirably.
He has. He's doing a nice job. All this pressure, you usually see Kevin start to ride a little bit tight. He's not... Oh!
Ezra Lusk slides out. He still could place in second, though.
He's trying, Art. You can see it. I mean, these guys, Carmichael has raised the bar so high this year and forced these guys to ride a little bit beyond their comfort zone at times, and that's what happens.
Another look at Ezra Lusk as they come out of that whoop section.
See, he's going to start leaning into the corner a little bit right here. See, he realizes he's going off to the right. He leans in. The rear wheel just hits the tops, which is all you want to do. But in that case, he needed to catch a little bit more of the tops. That wheel wouldn't slide out from underneath him like that.
Windham gets the white flag as Ezra Lusk is back in the race. And Lusk gets back up in second place.
What a confidence booster for Windham to go out there and weather that storm.
A heel ticket for Windham.
Yeah, he's comfortable now.
That'll help that arm pump. Nothing like winning.
He really needs this right now. Be able to push Ricky into a mistake, or at least that's what he can tell himself, and then to hold off Ezra. Ezra goes down, so no one's able to match his pace and stay on 2 wheels. Kevin made it look easy.
So Windham is looking for his 3rd heat victory as he takes the checkered flag. There's Ricky Carmichael. He has fought back to a 4th place position.
I thought he was going to have to go to the semi, but he's in the main. That's not going to be a good gate pick, which is a problem because it's a short start and a narrow first corner. Gate pick is real important tonight.
But after such a crash, to have the mindset to get right back into it and still qualify and not have to go to the semifinal round. Well, I can't remember 2 qualifying heats in 250 with more diversified action than we have just seen. The Suzuki results board. Windham, Lusk, Tortelli, and Carmichael. They get the transfer directly to the main event. Robbie Raynard and others go on to the semis. Let's go to Davey.
Well, Kevin, there was a lot of stuff going on out there. A lot of fast guys. You held up to the pressure. You got yourself a heat race win.
Yeah, I felt good out there. You know, my bike was working great. Suzuki pulled me to a great start. And the track here is slick. You know, my Michelins were working great, but there's only so much you can do on a track like this. And I think my bike was set up good. You know, it already showed that it's taking its toll on a couple riders, and I think it's going to do it a little more before the end of the night. Hopefully I can make it through it strong.
You were behind Carmichael for just a little bit there, and we saw you pick up that line right away, jump off that tabletop.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot faster. There's 2 rhythm sections here that are kind of where we're making up a lot of our time, but the whoops are going to be tough, and the whole track's kind of slick tonight, so it's going to be a good race.
Right, good luck in the main, Kevin.
Thanks a lot.
The second qualifying heat started out wonderfully well for Ricky Carmichael. As you see here, making the pass of Kevin Windham to take the lead. Kevin looking over to him. And Carmichael looked like it was just going to be same old stuff for his 10th consecutive heat win. But this is what happened in the whoops. He had the state of mind to get back up and into the race and qualify in 4th, but not before the checkers were flying for number 14, Kevin Windham.
Supercross. With moves like these, you need protection that won't quit. Speed Stick Ultimate. long-lasting protection to keep you covered, even if there are some bumps in the road. So go for it. You've got the heavy-duty protection you need as you blaze your own trail. Speed Stick Ultimate.
There is a better way to have fun with history.
Teddy, you're not even trying.
Visit americaslibrary.gov. Log on, play around, learn something.
As the Final Four winds down, turn to ESPN to keep up. Inside analysis from Chris, Digger, and Dickie V.
The best sporting event of them all.
With round-the-clock coverage and live sports centers from Minneapolis, ESPN's got the Final Four covered.
Last year's race in Houston showed what it was like to awaken a sleeping giant. In this case, it was Jeremy McGrath storming back with a vengeance after David Villeman had taken his second consecutive win. He got his first whole shot of the year and led all 20 laps for the first time since Vegas in '99. It was Jeremy's 5th win in the world's oldest dome and was the start of 4 consecutive wins leading all 80 laps.
A tremendous crowd on hand here at the Astrodome, but if you can't make it to these races, hey, the internet is where it's at. Earlier in the pits, I ran into some folks from Brazil. They keep up with Supercross every week on the internet, live webcasts on Saturday night, chat room on Thursday nights. Give it a look, ESPN.com. It's time now for our Suzuki setup.
Here at the Houston Astrodome, we do things a little bit different than we did last week in Minneapolis, Minnesota. For instance, our front tire here, the knobs are a little further apart. It's a more aggressive tire because the dirt here is so good. It's pretty much a rider's dream track. Everything's so big, we come up to the forks here, and we turned in a couple clicks on the compression for the big jumps. And we come down here to the carburetor. It's basically the same as last week, same jetting. Essentially, this whole bike's the same, except for tires for the real aggressive track. For instance, yesterday during practice, we changed forks just to make sure, you know, we go over this bike with a fine-tooth comb.
Allie certainly had the right setup this time for heat winner Kevin de Windham. A reminder of future Supercross races coming to your area. For those of you in Pontiac, the Detroit area, it's the 7th of April. Irving, Texas on the 21st, and Winter Olympic Stadium in Salt Lake City on the 28th. It's been a long time since we had such a celebrated semi.
Well, you got a guy named Jeremy McGrath in a semifinal. That was just weird. It had some problems, but he got them sorted out. There's a mistake he made early in the race. Cost him a lot of time down that straightaway. It's just a semifinal. And you got to remember, Jeremy had a much longer wait before he raced after the practice sessions after not riding the heat race. He looked good everywhere else. He had a few little places where he was making some mistakes. He got this section here figured out. Jumping all the way in, jumping out. That's what it's going to take in the main event to get the win over the big triple. Seemed like he was having fun out there, showing off a little bit for the fans, having fun with the fact that he was in the semi. Look at him through the whoops. Starts to wander off to the right, but he corrects nice. Out of this corner, this is critical. You got to jump up onto that plateau right there and back off to be on pace with the leaders. And he knows he was a little rough around the edges, but he'll get that cleaned up for the main event.
So Jeremy goes to the main event along with Huffman, Waugh, Nelson, and Thomas. Davey caught up with Jeremy right after the checkered flag.
But Jeremy, when we saw you go off early, we had no idea what was wrong. We didn't know if it was the blown motor, out of gas, but turns out it's a faulty gasket.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you know, you can't really tell until the last second. I did the parade lap, and what happened, I guess the base gasket got kind of sucked in. And when we started the bike, Skip noticed it before the heat, and then we started the bike, and it was a lot of, like, air and liquid, like, coming out of the base gasket. So I opted not to ride just because there's a lot of jump-on, jump-offs here. And when you hit the throttle and it's really lean like that, it's really dangerous. Skip's the best in the business, you know. He spotted it, and he ran up there. The Yamaha guys came over and, you know, got that Mazda Yamaha working again, and here I am.
The second semifinal saw a battle between top privateers Robbie Raynard and Heath Voss, and it was Heath Voss coming out on top. Raynard, Johnson, Elliott, and Hoffmaster rounding out the ones that got the direct transfer to the main event. We'll be right back from the Houston Astrodome right after these important words.
When Suzuki introduced the original 4-stroke DR 350 and dual sport 350, it rocked motorcycling. Now, it's happening all over again. Introducing the all-new DRZ 400 and DRZ 400S from Suzuki. 4-stroke thunder. On-road or...
It's a full weekend of speed. The Windham.com National Road Race Series, sanctioned by Formula USA. It's a 140 miles per hour festival of speed, featuring the Lockhart Phillips Unlimited Superbike Series. California, April 22nd, Virginia, July 1st, Pocono, August 26th, and Portland, September 6th. Go to FormulaUSA.com now for more info.
No Best Picture.
No lip-syncing boy bands.
No boy bands?
ESPN Action Sports and Music Awards, fueled by Mountain Dew, hosted by Rollerball's Rebecca Romaine Stamos, LL Cool J, and Chris Klein. Featuring live performances by Black Sabbath, Ben Harper and the Innocent Criminals, Incubus, De La Soul featuring Busta Rhymes and Crazy Town. Plus appearances by Tony Hawk, Evel Knievel, Tom Green, and the Playboy Extreme Team. The ESPN Action Sports and Music Awards, fueled by Mountain Dew, coming April 10th on ESPN.
Release the controls.
Do 180!
Get out!
We gotta get one of those.
I told you not to let him drive.
Our EA Sports Rider of the Week, Ricky Carmichael, last week established the second longest winning streak in Supercross history. At Minneapolis, he took the whole shot and led all 20 laps on way to his 8th win of the season, his 7th in a row, and a 29-point lead in the points race. RC has taken over the momentum of the series, leading 98 of the last 100 laps. Ricky Carmichael is once again our EA Sports Rider of the Week. Welcome back to the historic Astrodome in Houston, Texas. As the 250s get lined up at the gate, let's check out the starting order. First of all, the heat winners who showed good speed and good starts. Kevin Windham and Mike LaRocco, Ezra Lusk and Tim Ferry. The mechanical problems of Jeremy McGrath, that also was a story.
Well, you know, the thing is that McGrath didn't really pay the price after having to come out of that semi. He looks like he's lined up, as is Carmichael, where they would have been had they won their heat. So it wasn't that much of a penalty. And Windham, who has shined all night, he's got the fastest lap time, the fastest heat race. He's lined up to the outside of the starter box, on the other side of that AMA Pro Racing box. That could be a sign of confidence.
There's Jeremy McGrath putting on his goggles. Byrne is the top non-factory rider in the standings in 10th. And there's Ricky Carmichael, the points leader, who finally fell.
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly. He finally fell. A lot of guys have seen him get away with a lot of almost crashes, and I wonder what that's going to do to him. And I wonder if he's going to hold back just a touch. You see, he and McGrath lined up with Michael Byrne right between them.
The board is up. It should turn sideways any second now. It is sideways. We're revving up, and we're getting ready to see if Carmichael can win his 8th straight, or will someone else break the string? Tim Ferry, I believe, got the SMX.com Whole Shot Award, but it's Ezra Lusk fighting it out with Kevin Windham. Could Kevin Windham make this a breakthrough race here tonight? Desperately needing a win.
He desperately needed a whole shot. He's got Lusk there to push him. McGrath finally beats Carmichael and LaRocco off the line, and he did a little stuff to Ferry in that first lap. He could not afford to be behind Ferry like he's been so many times this year.
One of the factors is, can Carmichael get by Ferry quicker than McGrath? Carmichael just does in the whoops, gets by Tim Ferry.
That was aggressive. He had to get in there and just make that happen. He muscled his way by. See, McGrath pulls off one of those tearaways, clears that vision a little bit more, gets ready to go to work.
What an interesting order we've got right now. As you see Jeremy McGrath in third place. Windham and Lusk in front of him, and Carmichael right behind him, with Ferry coming up on Carmichael.
See Carmichael not wanting to follow McGrath through that corner, and not wanting to open the door either for Tim Ferry back there, because he will come in there and mess with these top guys. Ferry hasn't got a race win, but he's pretty comfortable riding around this kind of company now.
Our focus all season long has been Ricky Carmichael versus Jeremy McGrath. But right now, Ezra Lusk and Kevin Windham, two former Supercross winners, are out in front.
And Windham is starting to pull away. And as soon as that happens, forget about it. When this guy's on, no one can touch him. I think his fitness has been improving, and I talked to Roger DeCoster after the race last week, and he goes, I don't think he really wanted to say what's been going on over there, but he just told me, you know what, I think Windham's going to come around, and I'm starting to see that right now.
Absolutely. DeCoster believes he'll win one before the season's over.
Look at McGrath.
McGrath makes the pass on Lusk, so does Ricky Carmichael.
Well, Windham's going to feel some heat now, and that'll be the story. If he can hold these guys off, well, Roger DeCoster's the man for being able to turn him around, because he's never been able to hold off this kind of pressure. He's come from behind, but he's never holding these guys off when they've gotten great starts.
He's averaging a 5.5 finish. And here's a guy who has 6 Supercross wins.
Look at the different lines, McGrath and Carmichael. These guys are crisscrossing all over the place. They could get together. Look at that, beautiful. McGrath lays it over and cuts down the inside. Carmichael goes to the outside. Different lines here again.
McGrath holding on to the edge.
Lusk's got to be good back there in fourth. Oh, geez, this pace is fast. These guys have really picked it up. Already, all the top 3 guys are running 56s.
Windham in first. McGrath a second behind. Carmichael 2 behind. And Lusk is only 3 seconds behind. Davey.
Well, I got to tell you guys something. Ricky Carmichael doesn't like to make excuses, but before the race, we found out RC's got a cold, and he said it's been affecting him all day. He doesn't like to make excuses. McGrath doesn't need an excuse, but just keep in mind toward the late going to this race.
And Carmichael is on the back rubber and makes the pass on McGrath. Incredible racing now as McGrath tries to come back on Ricky.
Look at McGrath, so quick to go. Okay, I know Ricky's been taking that inside. He's probably going to go there. Made the switch.
Here comes McGrath.
McGrath does not like to ride dirty, Art. He doesn't want it done to him, but it just got done to him. And I think he's not too worried about getting back in there and doing it back, but he's got to stay close enough.
He's got to keep the pressure on Ricky Carmichael as they go through those cavernous woods.
Now, here's something to keep in mind. What Davey was saying about Ricky having a cold. His ears are a little bit plugged. That affects your equilibrium. 1985, I was leading the main event. 3 laps to go. I couldn't tell. My bike slipped into neutral in the corner. Fell over, lost the race, finished 4th. That could be something to think about down the stretch here as Ricky tries to close the gap on Windham.
Kevin Windham out in front, holding on to a lead, but Ricky Carmichael is close. It's usually this time of the year that Windham starts stringing podiums and gaining wins. He finished last season with 5 consecutive podiums, including his 6th Supercross victory of his career. But can he hold off the hottest rider in Supercross?
Well, these guys are starting to get away from Jeremy a little bit, but once Ricky gets close enough to Kevin, they're going to start having to block each other slightly, unless Ricky can get by with a mistake or something, and that'll allow McGrath to get right back up on these guys.
We're going to go to a break, but right now, Ricky Carmichael takes the lead. Ricky Carmichael with a brilliant move. Can Windham come back on him right now? Oh, this is a great race.
I had no idea that Kevin was going to leave the door that open. Ricky, that was no problem. He went right to the inside. I don't think Kevin realized he was that close to him.
They've got a lapper in front of it. Here comes Windham, but Ricky's got the slingshot effect. Well, the order changes by the second, but we've got to take a break. If anything happens, we'll have the replay when we get back.
Come to Williams Martial Arts and Fitness, where you can expect the best.
Call Williams Martial Arts and Fitness Center at 858-3800.
I'm Hank Parker Jr. It's NASCAR on X. Saturdays are born to be wild.
To advertise your business on cable's hottest programming, call the number on your screen.
Inspector Shanahan knew he was close. 13 years in the game, battles in the corners, big game goals, raising 2 cups. He saw things so clearly now. He stuck to the clues and followed the tracks of the skate blades right to the scene. He pointed towards his suspect, for it was the goalie who did it all along.
Capitals Red Wings, tomorrow at 7 on ESPN2.
Back in Houston, Texas, where Ricky Carmichael has just dominated this race. He came to Houston with a bad cold. He crashed in qualifying. After a not-so-good start behind McGrath, Rusk, and Windham, he passed them all. Here's another look.
Coming up on Jeremy right here. Jeremy's going to take the best line, thinking, well, I got a little bit of a cushion over Ricky. Bam, block pass. Look how surprised Jeremy was. Now watch this. Windham's going, okay, I got a little cushion. I'll go out here and use this outside line. That's been working. Uh-oh. Where did he come from? Ricky is making his luck, though. He's close enough to these guys, and he catches them so fast, he catches them off guard, and they make mistakes.
It doesn't seem like, David, he's riding on the edge over the envelope like he has in past races either.
No, he's done a couple little squirrely things, but that was getting through lap riders. And I think he needed to push it at those times to try to get that pack of lap riders between himself and this battle for second, and it worked. The gap widened up. It looked like he got hung up as much as these guys did, but apparently these guys got hung up a little bit more.
The battle right now is going on for second place here, David. Look at this. Kevin Windham, Jeremy McGrath, and Ezra Lusk. Bang, bang, bang.
This is a great battle for second, but as these guys start battling with each other, the pace will slow slightly here and there because they have to protect their lines, and Ricky's just smoking these guys. I mean, it is just faster, plain faster than they are.
Jeremy McGrath trying to make a move on Kevin Windham for second place. Jeremy's coming off one of his best drives of the season, self-admitted.
Yeah, and he looks good here, but just not good enough.
He got behind Villeman and Ferry at the start last week in Minneapolis. Wasn't until he passed Ferry in lap 7 and endured a back-and-forth battle with Lusk before Lusk went down that he moved into second place.
And look at Ricky. Already almost a 5-second lead over these guys. I mean, we're talking about Windham on a night when he was riding his best. McGrath, Lusk. It's unbelievable. I can't believe what I'm seeing, Art. He's in another level.
Carmichael looking to extend his win streak. It's already the second longest consecutive win streak in the history of the sport. Here comes McGrath. Fishtailing. He gets by Windham. Jeremy McGrath using that aggressive move just like he did last week. There's no question McGrath wants to win races.
Second's not going to help him do anything in terms of the title, but you know, 11 out of 20 laps is a long ways to go. And if Jeremy wanted to put pressure on Ricky, now he's got clear sailing up to him. He was able to jump a couple of things that he wasn't able to jump when he was behind Kevin. Maybe that will enable him to close the gap. He's already starting to pull away slightly.
So as Ricky Carmichael leads another lap, he came into this race leading 98 of the last 100 laps. He's back out in front. We'll be right back.
They dominate the world of motocross and off-road riding. But there's an even bigger reason to choose a Honda CR or XR. Because right now, you can gear up with Honda bonus bucks when you purchase a new CR or XR. Up to $500 on select models. And when you buy a new XR 100, 80, 70, or 50, you can also get no payment or interest for 3 months. And no down payment when you use your Honda card. Honda's deals to move on. The bucks start here.
Not everyone is blessed with genetics. That's why there's Thermocore CRT, part of the new Anabolic Drive series by Metrex. This proprietary 8-hour sustained-release formula contains green tea, ephedra, and caffeine. Thermocore CRT can't compete with Mother Nature, but is sure going to make her sweat. Thermocore CRT by Metrex. Are you in?
Right now, save 20% on all Metrex sports products, only at GNC.
Catfish, what a great arm. Who is that kid anyway?
Of course he's got a great arm, Buttermaker. He's the best athlete in the area. But you don't understand. That's Kelly Leak.
You guys talking about Kelly Leak?
Yeah.
That dude is a bad mother. Talking about a loan shark. I borrowed a nickel from him last week. He said if I can give him a dime by Friday, he'd break my arm.
That's su bandido.
Baseball tonight, every night at 10 and midnight on ESPN.
The 250 Supercross main event, Ricky Carmichael is checked out. Mike LaRocca, number 5 of the Amsoil Honda while we were away. Moved into third as Remus going down.
Comes LaRocca into the corner just before the whoop section. Ezra hits a little slick spot as he's exiting the corner right there. Lost the front wheel and just gave it to LaRocca. He could feel that pressure and he was pushing out of that corner to get a good run at the whoops. I'll tell you who's going to feel that pressure next. Ricky doesn't feel much out front. He's got a pretty good lead right now, but McGrath in second. It's not solid yet. LaRocca's still gaining on him. He doesn't give up till the race is over. He will continue to gain on McGrath.
Number 4, Ricky Carmichael. You know, David, his dominance this year has got me thinking that what was once maybe thought impossible or unapproachable is within a reality right now. That Jeremy McGrath's career record of 72 victories with such dominance, Ricky Carmichael might be able to approach that record. The big key for McGrath is he's never missed a Supercross race because of injury.
He's been pretty solid over the years, but look at Ricky. The wins he's already strung together in a very difficult year. And he's 21. He's got a long way. He's just getting started. But the record that I'm thinking is very possible is the streak that McGrath put together, that incredible year in '96. Ricky could tie that this year if he wins the rest of the race.
McGrath really has his hands full in the upper right with number 5 of Mike LaRocca, who's putting the pressure on now for second place. Ricky Carmichael is riding smoothly. He's out in front. But LaRocca, with 2 laps to go, is putting some heat on McGrath. Ricky has a chance to tie 14 straight wins set by Jeremy McGrath, or 13 straight wins. He also has a chance to tie 14 wins in a season. However, you got to go back to Babe Ruth and Roger Maris for the asterisk. He's got one more race to do it in. Here's the battle on for second place. Mike LaRocca.
Boy, Jeremy pushed it through that corner. He got up a little bit high. The front wheel got into the loose stuff. And he just powered his way out of it, was still able to jump up on that plateau. He feels the pressure, and he is riding a little bit on the edge right now to preserve second place. He needs it for his confidence. Ricky's ruined his confidence tonight. He needs to beat everybody else, though.
The final lap is underway. Ricky Carmichael would be only 2 wins away from becoming the second winningest active rider now.
That last time they went to Anaheim Stadium, Ricky came from behind. That was the most impressive race I've seen him ride so far in the season because of the way he won it. He's doing that again here tonight. This is on par with that type of victory, having to come from behind, having to do it with a little bit of a cold. That's impressive. I mean, he just outclassed these guys tonight.
RC only moments away from winning his 9th of the year, his 8th straight. He would tie Brock Glover on the all-time Supercross list with his 10th victory, and there's the checkered flag. RC has done it again. McGrath holds off the charging Mike LaRocco for second. Ricky gets with Davey when we return.
Excuse me, I'm searching for a real man.
Perhaps he can be of assistance. He's so radical and extreme.
Surely he's not human.
Hey, Vern, isn't that the guy who stole your wife? What?
EA Sports Supercross. It's in the game.
Look, it's rated E for everyone.
My new book shows you 15,000 government programs you could use to change your life, too. You can get a better job, get an education, or start your own business. Next year, the government's going to spend $350 billion, and those who know about the programs are the ones who get the money.
If I could get $15,000 to go back to school, any woman could do it.
Call now, 1-800-233-0500.
IBF featherweight title fight. Champion Bolello Batili versus challenger Frankie Toledo. Friday night fights. Friday at 9 on ESPN2.
EA Sports Supercross has been brought to you by Suzuki. During Suzuki Fest 2001, get up to $400 worth of free accessories on selected models. By Speed Stick, presenting sponsor of EA Sports Supercross. And by Honda, the company that defines performance on two wheels. Performance first.
I'll tell you what, RC, you just got it going right now. I can't believe it. I know you didn't feel very good. You come out, start out bad, right up to the front, your 8th win in a row.
It feels good, Davey. I'll tell you what, I had to work for that one. I proved myself. I started from behind and went to the front, and it's been a tough week for me. As you can tell, I got a cold, and that heat race over there, man, I jammed my thumb pretty bad, and I was kind of down in the dumps, but, you know, that's the cards that were dealt to me, and in order to be a champion, you have to fight through that stuff.
Well, I tell you what, you also had to fight through Ezra Lusk, Kevin Windham, Jeremy McGrath. Not your best start out there tonight.
No, it wasn't, and, you know, it's good for me to get a bad start like that every now and then and kind of keep everything in check to make sure I still got the speed, and it's good to come from behind like that, and, you know, for me, I felt good. The Kawasaki was working excellent. Chevy trucks, Bridgestone tires, Oakley, Fox, Schwinn, Aeronautique, and man, everybody who's helped me, Gatorade, THQ, man, I tell you, I'm really happy.
Well-deserved support, Ricky. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Davey.
A second place in the Astrodome last year, Ricky Carmichael chalks up his first 250 win in one of Supercross's most historic venues, the Houston Astrodome. On the Honda scoreboard, Ricky Carmichael, McGrath, and LaRocco on the podium. The Rockets' 4th straight podium on the year. Huffman grabs the top non-factory honors over Foss and Byrne. Privateers rounding out the top 15. The Ironman from last year in 16th place. The big story tonight continues to be the dominating fashion in which Ricky Carmichael is displaying in an effort to unseat the rider who for so many years ruled the roost on the Honda points list. Ricky ups his points lead to 32 over the defending champion Jeremy McGrath. And Ricky Carmichael eliminating from the championship race up to Tortelli with 5 races remaining. RC's on top, McGrath in a class above the rest. David?
Well, he had a tough night, McGrath did, starting out with the heat race, having to go through the semi. He didn't get as many laps of practice, you know, because it's the smaller race in the semi. But, you know, he had his chance. You know, he beat Carmichael off the gate, but Carmichael was spectacular. You know, he has a cold. He crashed in the heat race, recovered from that, jammed his thumb. Then he got a bad start in the main event, still came from behind to beat these guys. I mean, what a year he's having.
Will Carmichael tie McGrath's consecutive win record? We might find out in Destination Las Vegas. The finals live pay-per-view on May 5th. Art Ekman saying thanks for being with us. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. It has been nearly 2 months since Ernesto Fonseca raced his 4-stroke Yamaha to victory in Anaheim. Has Fonseca cooled off, or can he continue to rule the West? It's the EA Sports 125 West Championship run from Houston next. Welcome to the historic Astrodome for round 6 of the EA Sports 125